a lot of your goal is just to get something in focus.
What do you like about being a photographer on Capitol Hill?
Definitely meet some interesting people. You know, generally the members of Congress, obviously they're from all over the country, usually a lot of good personalities. It's difficult as far as photographing though, because you're restricted in your movements a lot of times. The guys are generally all, you know, dressed up in suits and not working with much there. So I like it because it's a challenge. They want you to not photograph around the House chamber, a couple hallways around the Senate. So that's a problem because that's where a lot of action is. Before and after votes, congressmen talking to each other, their staff, journalists. So that's the shot you want. So you kind of have to catch them in other areas like Statuary Hall, the Rotunda, subways are good. The Senate's not as restrictive as far as where you could shoot. You could shoot around the chamber pretty much, but yeah, it can get tricky.
How many people are you usually fighting with to get a good shot?
I generally don't try to push anybody. You generally try to think about where your shot is first and just get there first. For instance, we had a big event with the president for St. Patrick's Day. The Prime Minister Ireland was there, Joe Biden was there. You have to line up and they crowd you in and you get maybe 4 minutes inside. And it's pretty challenging because the president and John Boehner aren't really right next to each other, like the two principals you're looking for. Basically, I shot the entire thing as in a Hail Mary situation with the camera up over my head because I was the last one on the pool to get in, so I was shooting over people. So I shot probably like 40 frames, almost blindly.
Wow, that means you're not looking through the viewfinder.
I'm definitely not looking at the viewfinder, but you're able to turn a monitor on in the back, so you kind of see what you're doing. But I just shot maybe 40, 50 frames and I got one usable one. You have to figure out what your background's going to be and try to get there before someone else. Because if you see that picture, just because you could compose it in your head, you can't get there because there's like 10 other people to stumble through. So it's a lot of thinking ahead and planning.
And is that trial and error? I mean, have you made mistakes and gotten the wrong background behind someone at that podium?
Yes, but you're also trying to mix it up quite a bit. Yeah, shoot from as many angles as possible because you kind of don't know, you know, what's going to work. You could throw a lot of it against the wall and see what sticks.
Is it hard to recognize those new members of Congress?
Yeah, that's definitely been a challenge. I was pretty good at it for a number of years. Like, I was like the go-to guy in the press gallery. Like, hey, Tom, who's this guy? Or who's this woman? But with all the turnover in the last few years, yeah, it's definitely hard to keep track.
Shoot first, ask questions later?
Right, well, yeah, ideally, if you photograph the person, you try to get their name. I've definitely asked members of Congress who they were before. I'm like, excuse me, sir, but I don't know your name.
Now, being on the Hill for 14 years, so many people know you. Do you often get members of Congress grabbing you and trying to pose for pictures?
They generally, yeah, kind of. They kind of know the drill, though. They know they're supposed to act naturally. But Senator Patrick Leahy, I'm actually friendly with him. I guess a couple months ago, I walked into the hearing room, and he just like pointed at me, and Grassley was there. They were like, hey, it was pretty funny. So it was a pose shot, but it worked out.